I heard you and Jack are pretty close.
Yeah, we're best friends. Our moms used to crochet together.
If I end up with Carly, then one of Carly's friends is bound to want to be with you.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
How do you know whether someone likes you or not?
Well, I see.
Okay, what the fuck was that?
You're just mad that Carly likes me and not you.
If you feel you ever have to prove anything to anybody...
Hi, Theo. This is Carly.
then they're not the right person for you.
What's wrong, Theo? You want to have this gay little summer where we just roll the ball back and forth?
Every time I'm ever around you or Jack, there's always something off.
I have always thought of you as my best friend, but I am nothing like you, Jack.
You're sweet, Theo.
Really?
Yeah. You're like a brother to me.
Take me back to when you were a kid and the movies that made you want to pursue filmmaking.
Okay. Well, I love really any coming of age films. For me, that's like my genre, like to the core. As far as like years back, it's really hard to say like what one of the first ones was, but I know I was probably like 18. I'm like 26 now, so I'm old. But when I was,
I'm older than you, so let's relax.
well, so when I think I was 18, I saw, if you've ever seen it, mid-90s. It's an A24 film.
Oh yeah.
I saw that in the theater. I think that was like one of the like first coming of ages that I've seen, and I like fell in love with that movie for some reason. But then over the years beyond that, I've seen just like a variety of them. A24 is Close. I love Close. If you've ever seen that one. Trying to think of some like recent ones that I saw. DD, I love that one.
Oh, I love DD.
Yeah, I feel like that one was like not hyped up enough. Like that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons and tons and tons. One of the films that I had some of the actors watch that I saw, it was I think it was 2024. Snack Shack, if you've ever heard of that. It was a limited.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Really good. Please watch that.
Okay.
So, but yeah, all in all, like those are some of the films off the top of my head that I really loved with coming of age. But that is like I said, my genre to the core. So that's what really brought me into this, I guess.
What is it about coming of age that you feel like is what keeps drawing you back and like what excites you about your own projects and just projects to see?
I think with coming of age in general, it's just like, I feel like there's always something you can take away from these films. And not that I don't love other genres too, but I feel like with this genre in particular, if you can take something meaningful and valuable just from like your 2-hour experience of like watching a feature or even a 20-minute short, if you can take something from that, I think, I mean, that has such a big impact on how you move forward with your life. I've seen films that have changed the way I perceive things, the way I see other people, the way I feel about other people. So yeah, that's what I really love about it. And that's what I've loved walking into this business, is finding ways to relate and connect with people in ways that we don't always get to do on a day-to-day. So that's what I love about it.
Yeah. If you had to pick one movie as like a way of introducing yourself to somebody else, what would you pick?
I have no clue. Oh my gosh, because I'm a train wreck. Goodness. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people that know me would say, "Oh, he's a sad person." So I feel like the coming of ages that I typically enjoy that I would select from are very sad. Yeah, I don't know. I know a recent one that I saw that I really loved, if you heard of this, was Griffin in Summer. And
I loved Griffin in Summer.
I loved that film. There were pieces of that I like really connected to. Like I feel like when I was younger, I had like this like attitude and I was kind of quirky and weird. And so yeah, like I like to think films like that I can find pieces of myself in. And when I write these characters for my own films now, I like to bring like pieces of myself into them as well. So definitely like a more quirkier kind of character in a film like that. But yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at your Instagram and I saw that you had this video about the importance of editing in a montage and how like it creates this sort of different dynamic based on the shots you're using and things like that. I think editing is one of the most underrated aspects of filmmaking. I think it's so difficult, and I'm curious how you find editing. Do you enjoy it? And then what you feel like doing hands-on editing work has changed the way that you write and the way that you direct.
Gotcha. Okay, let's try and break this down. So I I love editing, but I also hate it. There's so much to it that I'm still very much like super new to.
Hmm.
My recent film, I did not edit the whole thing.
Hmm.
My other producer, Matt Jacobs, did a lot of this. So he actually taught me a lot with this film, more than what I had learned on my first film.
Hmm.
But yeah, like the video that you said about, I found like a little bit of a love for it. And I found like little things in it that kind of helped me feel out the characters and like what they're supposed to be portraying to the viewers and things like color or like
Hmm.
film grain that you could add little things or sharp cuts and when things should fade in or fade out, whatever. It's very complicated. But I guess to answer your question, like I love it. I agree with you. I think it's one of the most hardest and like important parts of filmmaking.
Hmm.
And it's something that I know I have a long, long journey with. We were working on the film on I think it's Da Vinci. Have you
Mm.
if you've heard of Da Vinci?
Yes.
And Matt, the other producer, is always like lining things up and moving things around. And I followed along very well for most of it. But like I said, there's so many things to it. So I think anyone kind of jumping into like editing, like maybe they're editing their first film or
Mm.
like me just kind of like following along with somebody. I think there's for sure so much to learn. But yeah, it does lean into like how I direct for
Mm.
sure because it's weird when I'm on set, like actually in production, like watching this happen. I'm like visualizing these shots and how they should look. So
Mm.
when you're in front of like a screen and you're really like having the opportunity to watch it all line up the way that it
Mm.
should, it's such a like exciting feeling to see it, on the screen like that. But yeah,
Yeah. And you made this film, both films you made in Altoona?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to branch out a little bit. Maybe Pittsburgh one of these days. We'll see.
There you go.
But yeah, I've always lived here, so I was like, for my first couple films, why not shoot it in the hometown? But yeah,
Right. What are some of the pros and cons of shooting in Altoona or just like you feel like maybe in Pennsylvania in general from talking with other people?
right. I think one of the main things that I've just like personally run into is that I don't feel like films are like this thing that is commonly acknowledged around here.
Mm.
It doesn't mean it's not important by any means because it is. And I know there's a huge group, a huge like community of us that like really love film. But for whatever reason, it's hard in Pennsylvania, I think,
Mm.
compared to other places. So when you're reaching out to places about locations or I don't know, maybe using a company for like catering or like something like that. Almost every single person that I talked to and said, "Oh, this is for like a film." They always like look at me like I have three heads. So that was the one thing that like I've always like run into is you really have to get used to like elaborating and like
Mm.
talking about what the meaning is behind this and why you're doing it. Like we booked with a Airbnb here in town for this
Mm.
film that we used for like a few days. And let me tell you, Airbnbs are the hardest thing to find for a freaking film in Pennsylvania. Like, I don't know why, it just was. But the person that we worked with who was great for this,
Mm.
um, they were like very like intrigued to hear that like we were in Altoona and like making this film. And
Mm.
so it's just kind of cool to like see the reactions of people, but it's also very complex and very complicated because there's a lot of people that just aren't really used to that scene yet, and they're not really sure how to take it or like if
Mm.
you're like legit, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of explaining to do along the way, but it's all worth it in the end for sure.
And locations is something that you did on your brother Theo. How many locations did you need for the film? And I guess I'm curious, like you were talking about a little bit, what is that explanation process like? Like, did you use any other houses or just the Airbnb? And I think locations is such another really interesting part that nobody really talks about either, of like, what does it look like when a location scout is coming to you and saying, hey, I
Yeah.
need this place.
No, in all honesty, it's so awkward. It's so weird. Because you don't know what kind of reaction you'll get, like I said. I think there was like 5 or 6 locations for this
Mm,
film. I wanna say 5. That's probably like a solid number, and they were
mhm,
just various places, like, around the area that I had reached out to. You should see, like, the email list that I had for it was, like, insane. But we worked with some really great people. Like I said, the Airbnb was one that we got very, very lucky with. As
mhm,
far as like houses go or like homes,
mhm,
um, it was the Airbnb, and then we actually used my parents' backyard of their house to shoot what we call the bonfire scene,
mm,
which was really cool. It like ended up being like this really great shot. I love that scene. But I think what it all comes down to is like using what's right in front of you.
mm,
You really just have to be creative and think like, okay, especially if you've lived in the area all your life, like I have, like you kind of can think on some of the places that you've been or
mhm.
experiences that you've had and think, okay, what places would match this film the best?
Yeah.
Um, so you do have to be more like creative with it. But the Airbnb thing, it's just so funny. I mean, it's you have to like tell them like what the film is and then like what it's about. And I mean, understandably, they have to like make sure you have like insurance set up
Right.
and people, you know what I mean? There's like things that go along with why they have to ask you these things.
Mhm.
But no, the lady that we worked with, we just got super lucky and she was like, "Oh my gosh, please." And throughout the week, I would just like send her like little things like from the film of like us in the kitchen and she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, no way, that's so cool."
Oh.
So, yeah, it was really cool. The Airbnb was really tricky to get, but again, I think Pennsylvania is just like so different from other places with this stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of having to explain what the movie is about, can you explain a little bit of what your brother Theo is about?
I can try without spoiling it. Yeah. So it's a coming of age. It's about 2 boys that are best friends. They're growing up in the early 2000s. The film takes place in Pennsylvania, like
Mhm,
that's how it was kind of written to be, and that's where it was shot. But they both share a mutual crush,
mhm,
and throughout the film, we learn a little bit about each of their pasts and sort of touch on the complexities of adolescence and some of the things that don't get talked upon that probably should be. I think I always say this. I think if you're a mom, you're going to hate this film because it's like really devastating. I think if you're walking into this film like thinking it's going to be so funny and cute, I think
mhm,
you're going to be like horrified by the end of it. I love coming of ages that really hit, and I think this film shares a message in the end that I
mm.
think people will really, really value. So, without giving too much away, you do learn a little bit about each character and what their pasts are and things that they are now learning. And I hope people can take something strong from it. So, yeah.
That's a great teaser. That's a It reminds me of how Greta Gerwig wanted to end Lady Bird with just the text that said "Call your mother."
Oh my gosh, for real. I love Lady Bird. But yeah, no, I mean it was a very this was a very personal project. There was pieces of this that are very much connected to me, and I think there are pieces of this that are connected to people that I've seen go through some really, really heavy things. So yeah, I'm excited to see what people think of it. But it will be sad, so bring all of your tissues, please.
Do you find it
Yeah.
difficult to put something that is so close to you on the screen for other people to see, not just like to have actors say these lines that are really personal, but then to give it to the public and hear what they have to say.
Yeah, it is. What my film last year was for sure very personal to me, and
Mhm.
I remember when we, like, premiered that one, my heart was, like, beating through my chest, and I was like, "Oh boy." Like, it's just kinda one of those things, like, when people are finally, like, watching it, you kinda get yourself into, like, perspective, and you're like, "What did I actually do? Maybe this shouldn't be on the screen." And that's kinda like, funny enough, that's kinda what happened with this one. We, like, pre-production was so much fun. We were like, "This is
Mhm.
gonna be great," and then we were, like, actually shooting it, and I'm like, "Yikes, that is really heavy. Like, someone is gonna get really upset about this." But I think for me, I always try to take some of the things that I've been through in
Mhm.
my life and things that I've seen and witnessed and try to turn it into something that will help someone.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I just didn't feel like when I grew up, there was a lot of things that I could, like, relate to, and I actually hear that all the time. I see
Mhm.
people say that, like, they didn't have anything on TV or, like, on screen that, like, meant something enough to them to feel, like, connected.
Yeah.
So, I'm, like, surprised how common that is, but it's true. And if I can contribute to helping anyone in any kind of way through an art that I love, then why not? So, yeah, it's weird, it's hard, but I do love what comes of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And looking at all of the credits that you had on this movie, it's locations, writing, directing, acting, producing. I think I saw wardrobe in there as well, like everything.
Everything.
What, what, if you had to point to one thing that
Mhm.
you feel like maybe would be overlooked by people, what is one of the bits of those roles that you are most proud of in doing this movie?
I mean, I don't wanna say directing because I feel like that's so, like, cliche, like, "Oh, yeah." You know what I mean? So, I'm not gonna say that, but honestly, something that I'll say that surprised me that I had a lot
Mhm.
of fun with, it was just, like, cool for this film was, like, wardrobe, I will
Mm.
say that. I did have, 2 PAs kinda help me along with it, especially with, like, girls' clothing. Because 'cause I'll be honest with you, I don't know anything about that. So I'm like, but you know what? We went at this the right way. We pulled up to the Goodwill, and I said, "This is how much money we have, and this is what we're gonna spend." And I think we knocked out all the wardrobe in, like, under $100 somehow.
Wow.
I mean, it was really cool how we did it, but if you're doing the wardrobe for a film, go to the Goodwill, go to a thrift. It will be worth it in the end. You'll find some of the coolest things. So, like, that's cool. Like, I don't think people realize how much work goes into, like, stuff like that because
Mm-hmm.
you have to be very nitpicky for things to, like, match the characters and the, like, aesthetics of the film. There's a lot of, like, small detail that goes into it. People that do that stuff, like, as their, like, regular job, shout out to them because I could never. This was like a one time, and I was like, "Oh boy, I don't know what we're getting into," but, it was fun. So, I would say because of how much small, like, detail go into things like that and, like, locations too, I think
Mm-hmm.
that is a big thing as well, is, like, really planning out how your shots are, like, going to look and where they are going to look that way. Those 2 things I would say are really, really important to, like, filmmaking, so.
Yeah. And also on IMDb, I saw you credit the Altoona curve on this film.
Huh?
What's
Yeah, do
that
you know
about?
them?
Huh?
Do you know them?
Oh no. Okay, I thought you meant
Yeah.
like the curve. Is it not like the train curve?
No, 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 no. It's okay. I mean, listen, I totally get it. It's not that though. We have a big, like, baseball field stadium here, and
Oh.
there's a baseball team that plays there called the Altoona Curve. Yeah, so great question. I love it. But no, they're a baseball team that play here. And the field is, I'm not even kidding you, the field is like crazy amounts of money. They're very, very particular about how they run that place and, like, understandably.
Mm-hmm.
But, so when someone kind of, like, connected me with them, I was like, "There's no way we're ever gonna be able to shoot a film here." Like, I'm gonna go in there like, "Oh, hey, I'm shooting this movie," and you know what I mean? They're gonna probably tell me to get lost. But no, they were so happy to help, and they, like,
That's
it took,
awesome.
yeah, it took a few months to like set that up, but there is no Altoona curve that we necessarily worked with. It's just the baseball field stadium thing. But you should look them up. I thought
Yeah.
maybe you would tell me you were a big like baseball fan or something. I don't know.
I do love baseball, but I have been on the train from
Mhm.
Pittsburgh to New York. Isn't the like that crazy curve that they talk about? Isn't that Altoona?
Like when you're saying that, I'm thinking of like the horseshoe curve. Is that maybe what
Maybe.
you're I'll have to like Google this because I'm like the Altoona curve. Like I know people talk about the horseshoe curve here, which I'm wondering if that's the same
I think it
thing.
might be the same thing.
Could be the same thing. But unfortunately, no, we did not film on
Yeah.
the but that
I
will be
thought you were
maybe for the
credit
next film. We'll see. Yeah.
and a train film next time.
Yeah, maybe.
I got two more questions for you if that's
That's
still
good. Yeah,
perfect.
absolutely.
So you've been born and raised in Altoona your whole life. What
Mhm.
is important to you to capture in terms of life in middle central Pennsylvania? And how do you feel like it shaped who you are as a filmmaker?
I think just speaking from my life and what I've experienced is like I think people here sometimes are like afraid to like take the step to simply just like be who they are. And I know that's like super cliche, but I think we all fear like judgment. We all fear like not measuring up to things and feeling like we're less than other people. And I see a lot of that. I have seen a lot of that and I've like felt a lot of that. I feel like in Pennsylvania specifically, there's a lot of people that just kind of stay boxed in and
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to like venture out and take a chance on things. Maybe not even just with like film, but like literally doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like sad because I don't feel like PA should like necessarily be like that. I think there's always room to like network. There's like always room to take that first step into that directive and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of be authentically you. I get along with people very well that can like be like that and just portray themselves as they are. I love when people get like excited about literally the most random things that to me don't make any sense, but to them that's their entire world.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, like if I'm out and about and I talk to a person that loves to crochet, I don't know a damn thing about it, but you know what? If that lights up their world, then run for it. I
Mm-hmm.
will vote for you. You know what I mean? So I think in terms of like filmmaking and I don't know, maybe people out there that like want to take the first step with that. I
Mm-hmm.
would say like just do it. And especially people like from PA too. There's probably people out there that like want to do this that just like won't for some reason. And
Mm-hmm.
if they're watching this, I think you should. I think there's so much room for like opportunity. I think there's so much room to really like do something really like meaningful for yourself. And I know for me, having to have done this now 2 times, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's, like, the coolest feeling in the world. I've met some really cool people from it, and I think I'll probably continue to do this for a while. So, that's how I see it. I just hope people can be themselves and reach for the stars, and sooner or later, you will get there. Believe me, I'm still on the way, so you and me both. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you answered my last question already, so let me
Um,
quickly pivot and say what is like the stars for you? What is something that if you get to it that you will feel like what are you shooting for? What is the dream in filmmaking? Is there somebody you'd like to work with, somebody you'd like to write for, somebody whose script you would like to direct?
no.
No.
Um For me, and this is, like, the most horrific answer ever. For me, the stars, like, in quotes,
Mm-hmm.
I would just like to be happy.
Yeah.
I think doing this is what makes me feel that way. I love to see people who also feel that way about what they do. I think if you can find something in this world, whether it be film or crocheting or whatever, I think if that's what brings you joy, then you should do it, and like I said, I think the stars for me would to just feel that sense of joy. I was very taken away by how much I like loved doing this, and when I see the reactions of people like to these films, and to like hear that they've been able to take something so valuable from it, that makes it all like worth it for me. I mean, of course, I don't know if anyone ever wants to like work with me that's out in LA or whatever, call me. But you know, the stars for me are elsewhere, but
Yeah.
that's how I would say it.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, and congrats on 2 films. That's incredible. That's more than so many people will ever do.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very, very pumped for this.